Hello. Happy 2025. It's only Wednesday. It's only January. And it's going to be a long year. I wanted to come on here and I just wanted to share a couple things that I'm thinking about this week in regards to how I plan to move forward with sharing my work, with getting in touch with people, and maybe some recommendations that you might want to think about. I recorded this whole thing and I was super excited about it and I had all this energy and enthusiasm for it. And then I realized none of the audio recorded, and I'm not going to lie, between that and like the chaos of the last few days, I am feeling very unmotivated right now. But I do think it's important, so I'm here, I'm showing up, and I just want to share some thoughts. So I would say 95% of my marketing comes from Instagram right now. I also use TikTok. I don't really use Facebook, but I do have an account. And when I have classes coming up, workshops, openings in my small group mentorship, it's pretty much always done through social media marketing. And I kind of envisioned like moving forward. I really enjoy social media. I love connecting with people that I can't connect with face to face. I was a media major in college, so like I just think it's fascinating. I think the way that we communicate on social media is fascinating. I think the like vibes on each app and how different they are is fascinating. So I enjoy doing this. Like I enjoy making content. I enjoy reaching a broader audience than maybe just like the people in my immediate circle. That being said, I can't say I've ever like fully trusted Meta, right? Like we remember Cambridge Analytica, the times that they have like sold our data, the way that we have just like, you get the pop-ups, like as soon as you talk about something, you're just like, But never have I felt so threatened as I do right now. In the last 72 hours, the censorship that I personally have already experienced on TikTok and also on Instagram are shocking to me. Like, it just is a stark reminder that it is just an illusion of freedom of speech, and it is not actually freedom of speech that we have on these platforms, especially while their CEOs are like cuddled up to somebody who is actively working to become a dictator in this country, which is a very real threat. Like imminent, like not 5 years down the road, like in the next few months. So anyways, that leaves me, somebody who works for myself, somebody who is a solopreneur, an artist, leaves me thinking like, what is next? Like, if I could, I would just delete my Meta accounts right now. I would love to do that, but I would not be able to pay my mortgage, like that is... Yeah, I just have relied so heavily on it for so many years, which I have always known in the back of my mind was not the smartest idea, because I remember years ago, Matt had a really big Facebook page for his DJing business, and one day Facebook just shut it down and he never got it back. He lost like thousands and thousands of customers and people who had followed his page. And the fact that there's no customer support for somebody who like runs their whole business via Instagram, it's just crazy, right? And on a personal note, my mental health, I feel like I'm constantly chasing this, like, even though I don't care, honestly, I don't put a lot of energy into that algorithm, but nonetheless, it's always in the back of your mind, like, you got to stay relevant, like, you got to post something, you got to be, you got to make sure, because otherwise the algorithm won't show your stuff to people if you don't post it enough. So there's this, like, hurried urgency that comes with making your business kind of like foundation on social media that, for a while seemed like it was totally going to be a great way to make a living, and has been a great way to make a living for a lot of influencers, and a lot of choreographers got noticed that way, and teachers and whatnot. But in this new landscape, it's not something that I can do. That being said, I have been really this whole week like digging deep to figure out what I want my business to look like moving forward. If you don't know, I invested into myself and my business last year, and I did a mental performance coaching program with Karina, with True Adventure Collective. It was amazing. Totally changed my whole perspective. Really helped me to like navigate a lot of challenges that come along with just working for yourself and believing in yourself and all kinds of stuff. And so I feel like I have a lot better idea of kind of where I want to go moving forward. But when leaving Instagram would be starting from scratch, right? Totally starting over. So I guess this is my call to ask if you are willing to divest your attention and your energy off of these apps and maybe find others that are more fulfilling and less surveilled and less moderated, where artists have more control over their work. I want to invite you to join me on Patreon. I have opened up a free membership on Patreon, totally free. You don't get everything, but I'm kind of planning to use it sort of more like Instagram, where I'm posting things there. And I've been really feeling called to write a lot more. So I'm hoping to share a lot more like blog posts, about just like the work that I do and a lot of the mindset tips that I notice a lot of dancers and teachers can use some coaching on, and also what it looks like to figure out how to pursue your dreams as an artist in 2025, which, like I said, that landscape is rapidly changing. So anyways, I will put the link for that. It's in my link tree on my page. So just go to the link in my bio and you'll see online dance classes. Click that. That's the link to my Patreon. So that is the first thing. The second is that I also am maybe eventually looking at starting a Substack. And I already have a Substack account. You can follow me there at Miss Kristen Grace. That's like my personal Instagram that I barely ever use, but it's MS Kristen Grace. I didn't carry over the moniker of Kristen Grace Dance because really not just right now, but I am so passionate about social justice. I'm so passionate about politics, and I really feel called to continue to speak on these things, but I no longer feel safe to do so in these particular online spaces. But I would really like to continue the conversation. I have really made an effort to follow some of my favorite educators and creators and advocates on different platforms that aren't TikTok and Instagram. I've started following a lot of them on Substack. I've started following a lot of them on Patreon, YouTube. There's a lot of really, really incredible creators. Again, I want to highlight that this work has been done by Black folks, by disabled folks, by Indigenous folks for years and years and years and decades and decades and decades. And so for us, as speaking to fellow white women in particular, if you have not already begun to decolonize your media, I really cannot stress enough how important that is. I know it feels like, what can we do? Like, this whole thing feels so overwhelming. Everything's happening like crazy fast. This is crazy what's happening. It's happening very fast. And it feels like I'm just one person. I got kids. I got a job. Like, I can't drive up to Seattle and go to a protest. I can't fly to DC and I get it, but it doesn't have to be that big. You can start by decolonizing your own mind, your own bookshelf, your own feeds. I make it a point to almost never read books by white people if I can help it, unless they have they really have, I try not to, unless they're pretty open about their awareness of taking up that space. I really make an effort to there's this, like, the algorithm always pushes out white creators, like, way more than it does anybody else. So I really try to make sure I'm always following people who don't look like me, who don't think like me, who aren't as able-bodied as I am, and really take the time to learn from other perspectives, because I promise something as simple as going through your following and removing the people who all look the same and finding people with different voices and maybe who make you a little uncomfortable at first, like, that will help decolonize your mind. And when your mind begins to decolonize, that's when you will feel more empowered to take action. There are so many people that will respond to my posts and just be like, totally agree, absolutely, I'm with you 100%. But, like, when it comes down to it, they won't be a voice for diversity and equity and inclusion. They're not gonna, like, stand up and get uncomfortable. They're definitely not gonna, like, share anything about their own views to influence their circle. And those, I call them, like, well-meaning white women. I'm sure I got that term from someone else. I didn't curate that. But it's like the apathy and the passivity, that's what is getting us to where we are right now. And I do understand, though, moving forward, that, like, you're gonna have to be careful with, like, what you say and how you say it and where you say it and who you say it around. I get that. But if you don't want to fall into what this is about to be, you have to be willing to be uncomfortable, and you have to be willing to have hard conversations. And you have to look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what side of history do you want to stand on? Like, when your grandkids ask you, well, what did you do to stop it from happening? You have to look at yourself and say, like, am I doing all that I can to stop it right now? Am I doing anything to stop it right now besides just going, man, this sucks, but I gotta protect my peace? And I get it. You do have to protect your peace. That's the hard thing. And that wraps me back around to why I want to get off Instagram. Instagram is headline, 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 drama, 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 clickbait. Oops, I just threw my microphone. It's so overwhelming, and it is designed to be overwhelming. The system is designed to keep us overworked, overly inundated with information, and exhausted, broke, like, all of this. The system is designed to work that way, because when it works that way, we don't have time to connect with each other in person. We don't have time to care about the food that's going in our bodies. We don't have time to do anything about all the headlines that are flashing across our feed every single day. In 2020, like, that was not when Black Lives Matter started, right? Like, that was not the beginning of police brutality. But that was when, at least I saw, the most people start to care about it and start to do something. And the reason why is because we had time. We had time to actually care. And they will not make that mistake again. I can promise you that. They will not make the mistake of giving us time to care about social justice issues. They learned real quick that if we can just stay distracted, stay busy, stay broke, and stay hopeless, we are real easy to take over, So how do we fight against that? Again, like, you can't do everything, right? But some things that I've done is cancel my Amazon subscription. I am, I don't know, I'm totally willing to delete my Facebook account entirely, because I don't really use it other than to promote shows. But I'm not sure. I'm for sure taking Instagram, Facebook, Messenger. Messenger is really, really bad with sharing your data off my phone. I'm for sure taking those off, the apps off my phone. And TikTok as well. I haven't done TikTok yet because you can't re-download it, and I'm just kind of still using it to keep a pulse on, like, the censorship situation. But yeah, getting those apps off my phone. You can always access them on desktop. I will still need to keep the account for a little bit, like I said, to promote things. But again, my hope is that I can, like, the real activity, the real work will be shared elsewhere on Patreon or Substack. And Instagram will just be like a, hi, reminder, this is what's happening over there, like, come over here. Because we have to have some kind of autonomy as artists, and it's a super challenging career to do full time, and I have a feeling it's only going to get more challenging. But something about me is I always believe that I can do it, and I always believe we can do it, right? I just have been like that my whole life. I just have never really felt like I needed to follow the status quo. And I've always believed that if we can, like, dream of a better way, like, we can have a better way. But it takes a lot of action and a lot of courage. It takes boldness. It takes discomfort. It takes sacrifice, all of that. And I'm talking now about just, like, making change in our country, not necessarily just, like, it takes all of that to be a dance teacher. I'm not talking about me necessarily. But it does take all of that, okay? It's hard. Anyways, so this is, like, totally not the same video that I recorded the other night, but I'm just kind of, like, you know, spitting and hoping it lands. Okay, so I talked about my future on social media. I talked about the importance of taking action. Yeah. So I was saying, deleting those accounts off my phone. I canceled my Amazon account, renewed my library card. I'm also getting in contact with people to, like, actually exchange phone numbers and not just, like, DM all the time, because I have a lot of people that I just, like, talk to on Instagram a lot, and I just am really don't want to use it as a messaging feature anymore. So if we talk a lot on Instagram, please feel free to message me and we'll exchange phone numbers and we can talk elsewhere. That being said, I'm on an iPhone. It's going to be probably iMessage. I have a Mac. Like, the Apple CEO was at the inauguration too. The Google CEO was at the inauguration too. It's just, technocracy is where we are headed. So I'm, like, about to go get burner phones, to be honest with you. But in the meantime, I am still on my Apple products. I've not bought new ones for a while. I have turned off Siri, and I've turned off pretty much all ad permissions on every single app I can. I also have, like, turned off photo permission, so every time I post, it's a hassle. But, like, if I post something, I have to, like, specifically give permission to access that photo instead of letting them access my entire camera roll. I'm just doing, like, anything I can think of to feel like I have a little more privacy over my life. I don't have an Alexa. They creep me out. If you do, I would strongly consider disconnecting that shit, because, yeah, that creeps me out. So we don't have anything like that. My Furbo's, like, in the corner, like, I'm watching you. I do have a Furbo, but it's down here in the laundry room, so, although it's in earshot of what I'm saying right now. Anyways, I very well may sound like a conspiracy theorist with my little tin hat talking about all this, but I promise I'm not. My dad has always been fascinated by history and politics. I've spent literally my entire life discussing politics and history with my dad. I absolutely love studying history. And history repeats itself. Also, I had, like, a hyperfixation on the Holocaust when I was younger. So, if you're not seeing these parallels, like, I don't know. I don't know how else to, like, break it to you that it's happening. But I also understand that, like, coping mechanisms for people are to shut down. And I remember that from COVID. Like, some people quite literally can't, you can't handle the truth, but they can't. Like, the truth is so traumatizing that they are, like, just unwilling to process it. And that sucks, because that's why we are where we are today, thanks to largely those people. And I'm not pointing blame. I'm just, you know, we are a severely undereducated country. The average reading age is, I think, 6th grade. I think the lack of critical thinking skills is astonishing. So yeah, I just want to encourage you to start preserving your brain a little bit more, because that is an asset that we have that nobody can take from you, except social media will take it from you. And it has already taken it from a lot of people. So for me, like, how I look at actually gaining control back over my life is, getting my attention span back and being smarter, like getting educated, right? Education, knowledge is power. I mentioned library card, but I also like want to encourage you to preserve any kind of physical media that you can. Actual books, actual movies, print out actual PDFs. I know, like, my generation and younger, we're very minimalist. We're like, oh, I don't want all that shit. It's all available online. It's just easier if I just go online. But that shit can be wiped from the internet in 2 seconds. 2 seconds. And it will be. And a lot of it already has. So, yeah. Physical media. Try to break your addiction to convenience. We don't need new things. We can buy used. Connect with your neighbors. Connect with your community. Know which neighbors you can trust. Know which neighbors you can't trust. Anyways, these are all my like very general recommendations. So this is already 21 minutes, which means I am probably gonna have to put it on YouTube because it won't fit anywhere else. I don't know how I'm gonna share this on Instagram, but yeah, I really hope that you will join my email list. You can do that with the link in my bio. And I hope that you will join my Patreon for free. You can upgrade if you want. Right now, the best options are, there's a $5 option that just basically supports me and my work. And there's a $10 option that gives you access to everything I've ever posted on Patreon, which is like over 100 things. Videos, blogs, playlists, all kinds of stuff. It's $10 a month. Soon I will be launching a new tier, which will have a brand new improved curriculum based off of my small group mentorship program, my private lessons, movement exploration, and kind of all, it's kind of like my 2.0 phase of teaching. And I will have more to say about that soon, but, yeah, that's all I got. And protect your peace, but also stay informed. Don't be afraid to find joy. Joy is resistance. Keep your eyes open. Stay smart. Don't lose your critical thinking skills. Don't give them power over your brain. I saw a creator that I really like to learn from, and she reminded me of that quote, "The resistance will not be televised." It's not going to be on Instagram. It's not going to be on TikTok. It's going to be deeper work that requires more than just a repost or a share. So I will still post a couple marketing things on here, but I just want you to know that my energy will be being put towards other outlets. When I say on here, I mean Instagram. But my energy will be on other outlets, and I really hope to see you there. Okay, bye.